What happens to a nation when its leader leads with iron fist? For a leader who was seen as an epitome of hope for many Tanzanians, things are turning rapidly the other way round. With hopes of freedom of speech, especially among media and opposition leaders and parties, President Samia Hassan Suluhu has finally shown her true colors. This is where things are turning upside down for a leader who is now under scrutiny for sabotaging what the nation has to move under: a free and fair election. Human Rights Watch, HRW, warned of the government's intensified political repression, including suppression of opposition, constraints on media freedom, and lack of independence of the Electoral Commission, raising serious concerns about the elections that couldn't be free and fair. Amnesty International issued a statement saying that reports of protesters killed on Election Day and a nationwide internet disruption were deeply disturbing. They urged authorities to investigate police use of force, allow free access to information, and ensure human rights are respected. The European Parliament released a strong statement declaring that the elections cannot be regarded as free or fair, citing exclusion of key opposition parties, harassment of leaders, curtailment of media, and obstruction of independent observers. A regional academic rights body, the Center for Human Rights, Faculty of Law, University of Pretoria, noted that the arrests of opposition leader Tundu Lissu and disqualification of his party signaled a disturbing regression in political freedoms and democratic governance. A leader who represses citizens and opposition parties may face a variety of consequences, including domestic unrest, international sanctions, diplomatic isolation, and, in some cases, international legal prosecution. Is this what President Samia Hassan Suluhu heading into according to what is ongoing in Tanzania? Repression can lead to increased social friction, public disillusionment, and civil unrest, which may eventually lead to coups or revolutions. So what is next for Madam President? Is a coup coming in Tanzania? Many suggest that widespread and systematic human rights violations, such as arbitrary detention, torture, forced disappearances, and extrajudicial killings, practices are aimed at instilling fear and silence opposition. While other nations and international bodies are becoming increasingly concerned about the situation in Tanzania, the regime is likely to face a breakdown in diplomatic relations. Targeted sanctions, such as travel bans and asset freezes on the leader and their inner circle, could prevail. Broader economic sanctions or the suspension of foreign aid could also be imposed. As a way of international legal action, leaders who commit grave human rights abuses, such as genocide or crimes against humanity, can face prosecution in international courts or tribunals, e.g. the International Criminal Court, or ad hoc tribunals, after they leave power. Military intervention. In extreme cases of mass atrocities or threats to international peace and security, military intervention might be considered by the international community, though this is a rare and complex response in Tanzania. It should be noted that the Tanzanian army has historically maintained a posture of political neutrality and civilian oversight due to a combination of intentional nation-building policies, the influence of its founding leader Julius Nyerere, and specific historical experiences. The army has remained largely outside of deep political involvement due to a long-standing tradition of strong civilian control, a professional apolitical ethos established by founding President Julius Nyerere, and institutional safeguards designed to prevent military coups. Demonstrations are taking place, particularly in major urban centers such as Dar es Salaam and Arusha, following the general election held on 29 October 2025. Protesters are angry about the exclusion of major opposition figures from the electoral process, which many consider to have been unfair or rigged. The government has responded with heavy security measures. The national military and security forces have been deployed. An internet and communications slowdown or shutdown has been reported across the country. Curfews have been imposed in Dar es Salaam and instructions issued for civil servants to work from home. The United Nations Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights, UNOHCHR, has expressed alarm at credible reports of security forces killing at least 10 people during the unrest. The opposition party claims that the number of deaths could be far higher, over 700, though the figure is unverified. Even though the government characterizes the unrest as isolated incidents and says order will be restored, international peace bodies aren't convinced by these instances. Indeed, it is high time. President Samia Hassan Suluhu solve ongoing national unrest by employing a multifaceted approach that addresses immediate safety concerns while also focusing on long-term systemic issues through open dialogue, policy reform, and community engagement. She shouldn't be adamant, but should communicate frequently and clearly with the public, acknowledging the grievances and demonstrating an understanding of the situation. She might think things can't go wrong and end up with never-wished outcomes. Most officially from international law organizations that have already came out with showing that they are examining the situation ongoing in Tanzania while already declared dissatisfaction with the president. The use of force shouldn't be a last resort and strictly to the protesters. Law enforcement should be trained in de-escalation techniques and crowd facilitation, avoiding actions that might increase tensions, such as excessive use of riot gear. Indeed, unrest often stems from deeper issues for this case, a lack of trust in government. President Samia must investigate and commit to addressing these underlying causes, unless otherwise things might turn against her. She should focus on implementing concrete policy changes and reforms that address the issues raised by the public. She might want to follow her predecessor, but things can change. Who knew that Tanzanians would go on a strike? They are basing on successful protests in Kenya to do the same. So she must foster an inclusive society where all citizens feel their voices are heard and valued, regardless of their background. Ensure that decision-making processes are representative of the population.